If you were a consultant to the federal government, what messages would you be putting out?
I would look for a single platform, a single message, and that single message will be my refrain every day. Let's take a look at the American elections that were held last year. What was Donald Trump's single message? I'll make America great again. America first. Single-minded proposition. While his competitor was talking about this, was talking about that, he had a single-minded, and it was a strong proposition. And I would also look at that. Let me take that, I'll give you some more examples. Let me take that to even before then, the government in power right now. The message was simple: change. Simple. Change. 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 And subconsciously, you felt that one was bad and the other one was good. Change. So I would be very single-minded. Back to your question, what would I do, or what would I advise? Be very single-minded in my commentary, in my messaging. Everything will center around that single message. Whatever that single message is, I may not be able to say it here, but I would have, that's what the ministers will say, that's what the special advisors will say, that's what the president will say, that's what the vice president will say, every government official, that's what the ambassadors will say, just name. So that after a while it becomes the song that we, the populace, sing.
It is my guess that the change begins with me campaign is meant to achieve just what you said. Is it working?
The change starts with me. Have you consulted me? When people don't see what's in it for them, it's difficult for them to take ownership of it. And these are all communication processes. I'll give you a little example. When we were in, we all know that immediately after the apartheid, the slogan for South Africa is, "It's possible." And you remember that ad that says, talking about colors, people coming together, blah, 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 and says, "It's impossible." Then you see the X on the IM, and it remains, "It's possible." So we're at breakfast in South Africa, and somebody at the table says to a waiter back then, and says, "Oh, excuse me, is it possible for me to have some sugar?" And the waiter responds and says, "In South Africa, everything is possible. Yes, you can have some sugar." It's even up to the waiter knew the value, knew what binds us together. The question is that what's the message that binds us together as Nigerians? If we have not been able to identify that and communicate that in the face of the avalanche of negatives that seem to be drowning us, then that is why I would say that I don't think that government has done as well as they can. And I choose my words carefully in terms of communication in Nigeria.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship. What advantages did you bring, or lessons did you bring from your course as a history student that you now bring to business?
What did I do? I believe that university just trains you to, it's just a foundation. It trains you to go out into the world. And sometimes I have problems with some of the universities that we have now that are almost like glorified secondary schools. Because one of the things that the university does is that it helps you to shape or underpin your character, because to some extent you are free to do whatever you want to do, and so it helps you to manage your resources, your person, discipline yourself, because there's no mother and father there to chase you all over with a cane. Now, and I believe one of the things that I learned, or that I had a passion for, was to pursue a certain line of interest, which was public relations. Now the question is that where did that end? What did I bring to the table? Passion, focus, dedication, commitment, belief in myself and belief in the system. The ability to look at the market and define what the market needs at a particular point in time, and then the courage, despite all the odds, to go out and start.
What specific inhibitions did you face on the road to entrepreneurship, and how did you overcome them?
I didn't have money. I started the company, but I didn't have money. And I must say that at the time that I started it, one of the things that helped me was that I was single. So it was easy for me to take risk. I had a car, dating my current wife then. And I think I remember very well when I left my paid job, and my mother-in-law was probably worried about how this man was going to look after her daughter. I remember getting my wife trying to tell me that my mother-in-law could speak to, I think it was Otumba Ashubon Balogun then. Why didn't I go and take up communication at FCMB? And and I can imagine their agitation. When I got married, I didn't have any chair in my sitting room. As a matter of fact, my sitting room was my office during the day. So, but at night, when we had guests, I only had, I had a table, and I'm talking of 1992. So I remember the first time my father-in-law, his remarkable man, Professor Folabi Olumide, the first Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, and an old Igbobian, just like me. And he came to my house, he visited, and there were no chairs. He sat on the floor and had his beer on the floor, and I was wondering that, what would this man think of this chap? Can this chap really look after our daughter? What made me feel was that I just had this drive. I just wanted to succeed at whatever I did. I wanted to make a remarkable, I wanted to make a notable change. So that kept on driving me. It kept on driving me. And anytime I set a goal for myself, and I even achieved it by the grace of Almighty God, even before I got there, it looked as if it was now insignificant. So I give myself another goal. So just when I'm getting there, I just feel that, okay, yeah, that's done. It didn't look so remarkable to me anymore. And then I've set for myself a higher goal. And that has always been the way I've approached it in my life.
How important is personal branding?
Well, it says that to sell something, you've got to sell yourself first. And it's very important, especially in our business. And I back that up with the fact that if you look at the people in our industry, and when I mean our industry, I talk about the PR and the wider spectrum, including advertising.
Marketing communication.
Yes, and you look at all those men that have gone before us, those giants. They had what my son, my 18-year-old son, will call swag. Is it Biodun Shobanjo? Is it Steve Omojafo? Is it Akin Odusi? Is it Boyega Adelaja? Look at those guys. They got swag. They brought their presence into the business. Olufalomo, Femi Adeni Williams. Look at those guys. They brought their person into the business. These are people, their names that brought their personality to bear on the business that they were running. So, personal branding in selling yourself, if you do not, especially when you're in a service industry, if you do not present yourself well, then it's a bit more difficult for you. And when we talk about personal branding, I beg your pardon, we're not speaking of just your dress sense. We're talking about etiquette. We're talking about elocution. We're talking about grammar. We're talking about comportment, and all of these play a significant role when it comes to selling your service.
Yomi Badejo-Okusanya, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. Do join us next time when we return with the program. But between now and then, let's continue the conversation online at channelstv.com, where you'll see this and previous editions of the program if you missed them. And tweet with me your thoughts at Modele SY. Thank you again for watching, and we hope you'll join us again soon.